Hello everyone, today I'm making handmade gift card holders. I have this 3-pack of Domino's gift cards, and I happen to know 3 little children who I'm going to give these to at Christmas time this year. And so I thought it would be fun to make handmade gift card holders for those gift cards. And in my stash of Christmas Sizzix die cuts, I found a sleigh. Now this one is supposed to be like a 3-dimensional design. However, because I don't want the gift cards to slip out, I'm going to not use the 3-dimensional design and only use the sleigh as my gift card holder. So I'm just going ahead and rolling out 6 sleighs in total because I need 2 sleighs per gift card holder. There's 1 set of sleighs, and I'm going to go ahead and roll out 2 more. And I cut down the middle crease 2 red cardstock papers because I can get 2 sleighs out of 1/2 of a piece of cardstock. So now I have 6 sleighs rolled out and cut out of the red cardstock. Now I'm just going to see where the cards are going to fit the best. And I think I like that. So with my bone folder, I'm just going to make a little mark. It doesn't write or transfer any color or anything. It's just going to mark it a little bit lightly. And I want to mark where the card sits, and the rest and the empty space around the card I'm going to glue together. Take my glue stick. And I'm just going to place one on top of the other very evenly, press down. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. But first I'm going to recheck that to make sure that the gift card still fits and that the line for gift card placement is still the same and didn't move based on where I put the glue. And then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to glue down this side. You can pretty much trust the glue instantly, but it might take a few minutes to dry, but that's okay. You can still play with the card and see how that fits down in there. Make sure you didn't go overboard and glue too much. I don't want it to fall out of the bottom, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a little dab of glue there at the bottom. There's one done. We want to decorate these sleighs a little bit. Now, I just found a bunch of fun stuff in my craft stash. I knew I wanted to decorate the blades of the sleigh. I don't have silver glitter. I do have this colorful glitter, so I'll use that for the bottom. And then I found these bows, so I'll decorate the sleigh with one of those. And then I want to make a card box by hand to put this in. Because this is a child's gift card, I want to see if I have a Santa somewhere. I know I do, it's just a matter of digging them out. Let's see here. This may be a little digging here because I gotta find my Santa. Oh, wait. There he is. There's my Santa. Okay, so we'll use this one for the box. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put some of this clear tacky glue. I'm going to pour it into this little cupcake holder. Well, actually, it's a truffle holder or candy holder, whatever you want to call it. I use these because they're inexpensive and they're thick. They're like a thick paper. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put some of the glue right in there. This stuff really is tacky. It lives up to its name. very tacky. So I want to get that out. And I don't need much because I only have 3 little sleighs to do. I have a roll of wax paper I keep on hand at my craft table. And I'm going to tear a piece off, lay it down, and then this is where I'm going to glue on the glitter. Therefore, my workspace doesn't get all glued up and sticky, and it keeps everything nice and neat. So I'm going to take my first one, and I'm going to go in the glue with a paintbrush. I always buy these cheap, inexpensive paintbrushes. Usually I can get them in a big container for less than 10 bucks. I don't know what they cost now. I've had these for years. Probably 5 when I bought them years ago. And I'm just going to paint the surface with the paintbrush. Just going to trace around the surface there. You don't need too much. It doesn't have to be thickly applied. It's just for glitter. Once that's evenly applied, I'm just going to go ahead with my shaker of glitter and just shake it right on there. And that's how that looks. It's cute. And then you just set it down to dry on the wax paper. When you're done and they're dried, then you can pick up the wax paper and shake off the excess glitter right back into your container. I was also thinking about maybe punching holes and using it as a Christmas decoration, like a hanger. Put a ribbon through it for a hanger. But being that they're little children, I don't want to do that. The parents might end up losing the gift card that way. That's why I'm going to go ahead and do the box for them. That's what it's going to look like when I add the bow. Now, before I added the bow, or before I thought about adding the bow, I opened the package and just made sure how it was going to look. And I realized that you can actually wrap the bow kind of around the back, but because it doesn't twist tie, because it's too short, I'm going to go ahead with a glue dot. Right on there. When I'm done with the glue, I take the little paper cup and I just squeeze it shut, and that way it doesn't leak out into the garbage. And now for this part, I took 6 pieces of white cardstock, 8.5 by 11, and I'm going to make a box for each gift card holder. So with the first piece, I'm going to make a base, or the bottom part of the box. As you can see, the gift card kind of sits in the middle of this piece of paper, but I don't need a box this big, so we're going to trim it down. I'm going to move it to the top so I still have enough to fold over the side. I'm going to take my crease board and I'm going to lay both pieces down just to see where we're at. At what mark do I want to make the crease? I think I'm going to go with the 1.5 inch mark. On my crease board at 1.5 inches, I'm going to go ahead and make a crease with my bone folder. I like to keep a ruler on hand because sometimes it's easier to crease the paper with the ruler edge. And then I'm going to fold it good and tight with the bone folder. And that's one side. Now I'm going to take the gift card holder again. And now I'm going to see how much I need to trim off. So there's quite a big space here. I did 1.5 on this side. So now I'm going to see, this is about 4 inches. So if I need 1.5 inches of that 4 inches, I need to cut off 2.5 inches. I'm going to take my paper trimmer and I'm going to cut off 2.5 inches. And then from that, I can measure out 1.5 and crease that side. Now I have both sides creased and I want to see where this is going to sit in the box. And now I'm going to crease it at 1.5 on each side. So now all the sides are creased. The present fits perfectly in the middle. So what I do then is I just take a pair of scissors and then I cut on each line around the tabs. So I make 4 tab cuts. That way the box can be folded in like this. Then you want to take double-sided tape, Scotch tape, glue dots, glue sticks, whatever you have available. For this, I'm going to use Scotch tape. I'm going to tape it on the outside. And there I have the base or the bottom of the box, as I've taped all the corners all the way around the box. And now I need to make the lid. You have to remember that the base is going to be smaller than the top. You want to leave a little extra room for the cover to fit around the base of the box. So I'm not going to cut off as much as I cut off for the base. I think we cut off 2.5 inches before. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off 2 of this. And I'm still going to go ahead and score it all the way around at 1.5. Sometimes these scoreboards are hard to stay in the track, depending on how thick the cardstock is. And you can test it out and see that will fit. So that's good. So now we want to go ahead and score the other remaining sides. If you don't have a scoreboard, you can use a ruler. Just measure out where you want to put the score line and just fold it over a ruler. Once again, I'm going to test it now that I got all 4 sides scored, especially to see if the sides fit. That fits perfectly, as you can see. Now you have a nice whole box, handmade. And now I'm going to go ahead and decorate the top of this box. So for this next part, I have a Santa stamp. And I also have a Merry Christmas stamp, which I've been using a lot in some of my tutorials. I also have red dye ink. You want to make sure it's dye and not pigment. Pigment will smear unless you're embossing with a heat gun. First thing I'm going to do is take my ink pad. And I'm also going to see the placement of the Santa. And I'm not going to put it right smack in the middle, because I also have a little gift tag made to say to and from with some ribbon. So I want to make sure Santa shows up once I put all the ribbon and everything on it. So I think I'm going to put Santa like up in the corner somewhere. Look at Santa. He's adorable. So now that I have Santa, then I thought it would be fun to take the Merry Christmas stamp and then just stamp it in all directions anywhere just for fun. Doesn't have to be a specific pattern. It doesn't have to be perfect. You want to make the illusion of old-fashioned Christmas paper. When I made my Christmas cards this year, I cut out from a punch the center, as you can see, and I have these left. So these are going to be my gift tags. And what I want to do is take a hole punch, not a craft punch or anything fancy, just a regular plain hole punch you can find in the office supply section. And I'm just going to punch it in one corner. I also have some ribbon from the Christmas section or the holiday section at any store. I think this came from Walmart. Sometimes I go after Christmas to get stuff on clearance and put it up for the next year. And this has a silver or a red ribbon. It's kind of stretchy. It's like a cord ribbon. I'm just going to thread one end through the hole punch on the little gift tag. I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece of the cord ribbon just big enough to wrap and tie around the box. Also, if you don't have red cardstock, you can use the pieces that you trimmed off of the boxes, and you can cut these into little gift tags. They don't have to be fancy. If you don't have a fancy punch, you can just cut them into little squares or any shape you want. You could even cut them into a heart by hand and then put them on your package. I happen to have some really cute, kid-friendly tissue paper. In one of my other previous videos, I made my own tissue paper just by rubber stamping the tissue paper, just like I did the box. But for this project, I thought it would be really cute for the Santa paper because these are kids. So I just lay the tissue in the box, just like you would a shirt box or any other box. And then once your project is good and dried, you're going to set the gift card down in the box, put the lid on. Now, I did have a couple of leftovers of these from a project I did a long time ago. I had 4, so I only needed 3. I don't have any white pom-pom balls. That would have probably been better, but that's what I have. I just have the little pearls. I just applied one to Santa's hat. I'm not going to color this in or anything. I'm just going to leave it just like it is. Of course, if you're doing this for a child under, I would say 4, do not put the pom-pom on there because they might try to chew it off or eat it, and that is a choking hazard. You just want to make sure that this is not in the reach of a small child. And then you're just going to position your gift tag anywhere you want, and you tie it into a bow, and that's all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned a tip or two. Thank you so much for watching today. Take care.